freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your Saturday recap for this week's WGC Dell Technologies match play. And joining me to break it all down, it's the coach. What up, coach?
I feel like an idiot every time we get to this Saturday every year. I feel like I'm a genius, and every year, just like in my basketball bracket, Rick, I look back and go, how could I have not picked Victor Perez to go to the Final Four? Come on.
We went from 16 to 4 on Saturday. The final names, which we'll talk about in a second, are Victor Perez, Matt Kucher, Billy Horschel, and Scotty Scheffler, coach, just as everybody expected them to be.
It's so crazy because when we went over our brackets on Tuesday on the mega pre-show, I mean, we all were convinced that everything we had, here's the reason. I was convinced this was going to be a chalk year. And then you watch the JTs, the Brysons, the Dustin Johnsons come out and either not motivated, either not focused, or just didn't have their games. Whatever the reason, they don't advance. And it's unbelievable to me how every single year, and you love to use the word chaos, that's exactly what it is, how it always plays out this way. I just don't get it.
Well, we had a few more big names bite the dust on Saturday. We'll start with Jordan Spieth in the round of 16, falling to Matt Kucher, 1 down. And Spieth played well, coach. He will rue the 16th hole. It's a par 5. He kind of let Matt Kucher off the hook, and now he is out of the WGC match play. And it's Kucher who is continuing his run all the way into the Final Four.
A couple of things on that matchup. First of all, he's got to be looking back right now, kicking himself over that 16th hole. With that being said, you got to give Kucher credit for figuring out some way to par that par 5 because they looked for his ball for, I thought it was for over 3 minutes, but that's neither here nor there. And I'll give Spieth credit. He went back and helped. But then if you're Spieth, you have got to birdie that hole to go one up. And there were several times this week that Spieth let guys off the hook, and he's going to be kicking himself this time. And I don't know about you, Rick, but for some reason, whenever Matt Kucher wins something, and I know he's a hell of a nice guy, and he's been great to me. I have nothing against him. I actually like him. But from a competitive standpoint, when he does that big smile, like the putt he made to close out Brian Harman, you're like, oh, my God. You just want to go up and slap the smile right off of his face, even though he's being legitimately a good guy. But when you go ahead, you don't want somebody to smile on your face and then drop putts on your head like he did this entire week. It just drives me bananas.
Yeah, I could see that. That could rub a lot of people the wrong way. We also lost Jon Rahm this time in the quarterfinals. That's the round of 8. He falls to Scotty Scheffler, coach. I didn't think Jon Rahm played all that poorly. In fact, I think he played pretty well, and he just ran into the buzzsaw that is Scotty Scheffler.
Years ago, the Houston coach, Kelvin Sampson, was coaching OU, and Paul Pierce scored 18 straight points in 3 minutes, and I was in the building. When he shot that shot, he came around, gave Paul Pierce a high 10, and he was on the other team. And I said to him afterwards, I said, Kelvin, why would you give a guy who took a 3-point lead to 21-point lead in 3 minutes a high 10? He looked at me and he says, Coach, he goes, sometimes guys are just better than you are. And that has stuck with me through my entire career, that sometimes guys, Rick, are just better than the other guy. Rahm had 5 birdies. Scheffler never missed a shot. And he never missed a putt when he had to. He never missed a cozy it up when he had to. He played perfect match play golf. So Rahm has nothing to be ashamed of because nobody would have beaten Scotty Scheffler today.
You mentioned the birdies. Jon Rahm had 4 straight birdies from 13 through 16 when he was trying to claw back into this thing and only won 1 hole. Like that's it. I mean, Scheffler just gave no room for Rahm to make up anything on him.
It was as good a display of golf. And I'm one of those that when I watch Scotty Scheffler play, there's a lot of what I call room for error in his swing. His swing sometimes is all over the place. His feet are moving, his elbows are high in the air, but that's his swing, just like Matthew Wolff, just like Victor Hovland, and it works for him. And when he gets dialed in, like he is this week, he shot a 59 last year on the PGA Tour. This guy is ultra talented. I think he's going to win a lot. We're going to see tomorrow just how much he embraces the pressure, because it's one thing to do it on Saturday. It's another thing to do it twice on Sunday.
Let's talk about Sunday. Our two matchups here. So we're going to play both the Final Four and the championship. And then for the two guys that do not make it to the championship round, they are going to play in the consolation, the third place match. So all four of these guys are in store for 2 rounds on Sunday. The first, Billy Horschel versus Victor Perez. And Coach, Victor Perez might be the hottest guy on the planet because on Saturday morning, he destroys Robert McIntyre 5-4. And then he runs into Sergio Garcia. And I'm thinking, all right, here's where the Cinderella run stops. This is where he loses his slipper. Nope, 4-3 over Sergio, and Victor Perez is rolling.
In absolute complete control of his game, throwing darts, never looked out of control, never looked like he didn't know what he was doing. The announcers pointed it out. He was a top 10 finisher 2 weeks ago at the Players, I believe is what it was. So he's in form, and he's also a guy that quietly, when you look at his seeding, that's the overall seeding, Rick, and he's 31st. He's not in the 50s. He's 31st, which means he's in the top 32, 33 in the world. So we should not be surprised that this guy is coming out and he's doing these things. He has just never done it here in the United States while we're watching. That's why we don't give him the credit that he so richly deserves. I think coming out tomorrow, this is going to be one hell of a match because Horschel is the ultimate grinder. And Perez just goes about his business and just slowly puts you to sleep, and you don't even know that he's doing it.
I'm glad you brought up the seeds. So our seeds for the Final Four, Scotty Scheffler's 30, Victor Perez is 31, Billy Horschel 32, and then it's Matt Kucher 52. But let's talk about Billy Horschel, who gets past Tommy Fleetwood on the 19th hole. They went to extras, Coach. Fleetwood snap hooks one off the tee on the first playoff hole, which I believe is number 12. They look for it. They can't find it. And it still wasn't easy. You know, a par for Billy Horschel got it done, but it's kind of similar to what Spieth did against Matt Kucher. When you see you're playing a partner out of position, sometimes these guys let off the gas a little bit. Sometimes it gets them in trouble. Billy Horschel was able to survive and advance.
You got to give Billy Ho a lot of credit. His birdie on 17 when he had to have it was amazing. And then they tie 18. He doesn't even take the lead in the match at all until he is shaking hands. I don't know why it is, but they automatically, when that happens, they play to the safe side. And he even said in his interview, didn't he, Rick, that that's not the easiest pin to get close to. But when Fleetwood went out of bounds, but he had a good second shot, and he was going to get up and down for bogey, and he did. And then Billy Ho leaves himself 4 feet for the par. And at that point, I was like, my goodness, if he misses this is over. Fleetwood's going to win on the next hole. He didn't miss it, and he got the job done. I feel bad for Fleetwood because I thought he played really, really well. He had a hole-in-one in his first match today. I saw you tweeting about it. How many times have we seen on ShotLink, Rick, where it says something? No. That didn't.
That's why I was waiting. I was waiting.
That was a great tweet. That was a great tweet. So give Fleetwood a lot of credit. I think these European Tour players, and I have a book that at the end of every week I take notes, and so I can look back next year to show what happened this year. And it's going to be all about the European Tour players, played well. When you really look at the guys that played well all week, it was the Europeans, I think, much more than the Americans.
Yeah, quick side note. I felt bad for Dylan Fratelli this morning. Let's see. Tommy Fleetwood was 5 under through his first 6, including an ace, Coach. It was just like wake up in the morning on a Saturday and get smacked around by Tommy Fleetwood, and before you know it, you're 3 down. Not great. Our other matchup is going to be Scotty Scheffler versus Matt Kucher. Kucher looking for, I don't want to say a little revenge because Kevin Kisner isn't here, but he finished runner-up the last time we played this in 2019. So he's back at it again. I don't know what it is about match play, Coach, because Kucher has not been playing well, but here we go again. He is just finding a way to get it done and advance.
This is exactly what happens. How many times, Rick, to me and you and the other minds on this show, we get to the end of the year and we see Matt Kucher 42nd in the FedEx Cup. And we're like, how in the world? He hasn't done anything. We haven't seen him on any television. We haven't seen him in a final group. Oh yeah. He made it to the finals of the match play, but because on Sunday there's only 4 dudes playing, most people are watching something else, like March Madness tomorrow. So this is the weeks that we forget. These are the weeks that you get all of these FedEx Cup points, that you get extra FedEx Cup points. Look what happened with Brian Harman. So, yes, he's been bad. Let's just be honest, bad. Yeah. But when it comes to this golf course, he loves it. He's playing great. Got to give credit where credit's due. But certainly it's shocking to see him all of a sudden flip the switch when he has been anything. He's not even making cuts right now. I mean, let's be honest. So, but kudos to him. He's in the Final Four.
If Kucher is going to win this golf tournament, he's going to need to get past Scotty Scheffler, who is the favorite. We'll talk about the betting odds in a second, but Scotty Scheffler still looking for his first PGA Tour victory, Coach. Getting it done for the first time at a WGC would be a pretty good time to do it with all the extra cashola that you get for winning an event like this.
Winning almost $2 million on any given week is pretty nice. This matters to these guys. And I know the announcers are told, believe me, I work for a network. I know what they're telling us to say, but they're like, oh, all the extra FedEx Cup points. Yes, that's very, very important to these guys. And yes, the old days of that third place match, but they're playing for an extra $200,000. To some of these guys, that doesn't matter. But it does matter to look at the four that are left. Other than, let's say, well, Horschel's won a FedEx Cup. But you're telling me that Perez and Scheffler, that first place prize money doesn't mean something? It means a whole hell of a lot. I know they want the FedEx Cup points, but they want that cash to set them up. The exemptions that it comes with winning a WGC is huge, not just on the PGA Tour, but around the world. This is big time, and Scheffler definitely in his adopted hometown wants to get it done.
We are going to look at the odds from William Hill after the break. We're going to take a quick word from our sponsors right now. And we're back. All right, Coach. William Hill has assigned the odds for the Final Four. No surprise to see Scotty Scheffler leading the way. He's plus 188. It is Billy Horschel on the other side of the bracket at plus 280. Matt Kuchar, who will battle Scotty Scheffler at plus 333. And Victor Perez at plus 350. Do you like any of these?
I like the Victor Perez plus 350. I really do. That jumps right off the page to me because of how he's been playing. If you just took the numbers away and you just had what we call the eye test in other sports, and you look at how these guys are playing, how they're hitting the ball, to me, Victor Perez is playing the best of any of these four that are left in this. So I may sprinkle a little bit on the plus 350. I don't think, because of playing Horschel, and he'll have to play either a veteran or a really talented guy, I don't think he's going to win. But of these numbers and where I think there's value, certainly Victor Perez, to me, has the best value on the board.
Yeah, I like the ends. If you made me bet, it would either just be Scotty Scheffler, who I think we're going to get some wins on Sunday. He's got no problem playing in those Texas wins, or Victor Perez, to your point, Coach, who has looked great, has played awesome. I think it's a really comfortable matchup with Billy Horschel on Sunday morning. I thought Horschel was very generous at times with some of the putts that he was giving Tommy Fleetwood. If that continues, I mean, even think about how over the course of 18 holes, Coach, you might pick up a stroke. You might tie a hole that you should have lost, and that goes a long way when you are just 2 matches from winning this thing. I think Billy Horschel needs to adjust his criteria for what is good.
When the announcers are questioning the fact that you gave that putt, I've never seen a player ever, and I've watched a lot of golf, and I know you have too. Have you ever seen a player walk away, have a player putt, mark, start assessing the putt, and then you walk in, pick up his mark, toss it to him, and say, that's good?
No.
I could not believe that Billy Ho did that today. Couldn't believe it, especially when you're down in the match and the holes are dwindling. You make them putt every putt. And he did. Now, he still got by, but I've never in my life seen what he did today. I don't remember what hole it was, but you remember what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. And he just throws it, and Tommy Fleetwood was almost surprised. He was by it. But there was a couple on the back nine that I was like, okay, yeah, they're 3.5 footers or whatever. These guys are professionals. It's not that big a deal, but you're down and you're running out of holes. Like you're only you are running out of opportunities here, Billy. What are you doing, my guy? But he figures it out.
and by the way, this happens every year. And I like when somebody calls these guys out, like everything that was made of the Kevin Na, Dustin Johnson situation. And the fact that Kevin Na, I defended him on social media. He was trying to be a gentleman and very gentlemanly say to Dustin, hey, listen, I'm giving you that anyway, but you have to wait for me to tell you that it's good. You don't just pick it up and assume, because what happens when it's a 3-footer on 17? That's all he was trying to tell him, and DJ wasn't having it. People on social media like, oh, quit it, Kevin. Come on. Anytime. How many times have you been playing, Rick, where a buddy will make, you got to make that. I don't get mad if anybody asks me to make anything. Everything should be putted out unless you tell me otherwise. That's always been my mentality. I don't care if you're playing for $1 million or you're playing with your buddies at home. Everything should be putted out unless you hear otherwise. And that's the end of it.
The putts that I've seen missed for $5, Coach, would shock you. I mean,
Right,
like 15
right.
Inches. Like,
Yes.
I mean, it's just amazing.
Yes.
And I know we're not professionals, but my goodness, it was a little bit crazy to see. Okay, Coach, we've got a great day of golf on tap on Sunday. We're going to be back to recap it all after the conclusion of the WGC Dell Technologies match play. Big thank you to producer Jacob behind the scenes for everything. You can find Coach on Twitter at The Coach Rules. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.